Before the world knew him as a statesman, he was the pride of Pakistan's cricketing fields, a fierce fast bowler, a masterful all-rounder, and a captain who carried the hopes of a nation. From the dusty grounds of Lahore to lifting the World Cup in Melbourne, Imran Khan wasn't just a player. He was a symbol of resilience, charisma, and destiny. This is the story of a cricketing legend, the man who changed the game and united a nation, Imran Khan, the Lion of Lahore.
In 1971, in that debut match at Edgbaston, Zaheer Abbas made 274, Mushtaq Mohammed 100 and Asif Iqbal 104 not out. And here's the mere slip of a lad who was trying so desperately that afternoon at Edgbaston to give Asif Iqbal the strike. But he wasn't quite quick enough.
So looking for a single off the last ball. If it hits the wicket, it's close and he's out. So Imran run out there, sacrificing his wicket as Asif was trying to take a single off the last ball. Lever following up very quickly indeed. He himself ran out. Young Imran.
Imran, it's a long time ago, back there to 1971. But back in those early days, what were the problems in making your debut for a country with such a restricted domestic cricket structure?
Well, Richie, the biggest problem was that I had no experience. Our cricket structure was, the first-class cricket that I had played was like playing club cricket in England. So for me, when I arrived here for my first test series, I was completely raw.
And still had to walk on to these vast test grounds with big crowds, and you probably hadn't seen crowds of that size before.
Actually, I had seen in Pakistan, I hadn't played in front of them, but in Pakistan I had seen fairly big crowds. And I was actually quite shocked when at my first test at Edgbaston I found that there were not that many people, but it was much more that the crowd was so quiet. I had never known. I mean, in Pakistan, you know, the crowd is noisy and it's like a festival. Here it was just a little ripple of applause if something happened. So that was a bit of a shock to me.
Well, 9 years later, then you'd become the second Pakistan player after Intikhab Alam to reach the test double of 1,000 runs and 100 wickets. You were batting at 7 and coming in at 95 for 5. You made a century against the West Indies. And I'd tell you, that was quite a useful bowling attack. They had Sylvester Clarke, Colin Croft, Malcolm Marshall and Joel Garner.
Yeah, it was one of the hardest innings I'd played till then. We were struggling in the beginning. We were, I think, 5 wickets down for 90 or 100. And yes, it gave me a lot of pleasure because I never concentrated in batting so much until then.
The bowling in those days, 4 fast bowlers, but not 5 as they have now, but still just as quick by the look of those names, because Croft, for one, could be very nasty.
Croft was one of the nastiest bowlers, but the most difficult I found was Sylvester Clarke with the new ball. I think once the old ball came, he was playable, but with the new ball, he was quite vicious. He struck a lot of our players that series. I mean, Zaheer Abbas got badly hit by him and 1 or 2 other batsmen. He had this nasty incoming bouncer. Marshall was sharp, hadn't quite reached his peak, but Joel Garner was quite formidable.
And then there was a rather pleasant little interlude against Sri Lanka where you became the first Pakistan player to reach 150 test wickets, which is quite a milestone in those days, and slipped in with 14 wickets for the match as well.
Yes, we had, there was a players' revolt before the Sri Lankan series. All the players who had played under Javed in Australia didn't want to play under him against Sri Lanka because they felt that there were certain comments he had passed after the Australian tour where he had said that he had been let down by senior players. And, everyone took offense to that. So some of us were brought back only for the last test match, which was at Lahore. And really, there was a point to prove.
And you proved it in no uncertain manner.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of pleasure because especially in Pakistan, the wickets are very slow. and really to have got that many wickets, even though it was against Sri Lanka, but it was a slow wicket, and I still think it was one of my quickest spells I bowled in that match.
There's a lot of talk these days about reverse swing and the bowler's ability to swing the old ball. But Imran, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing new about that, because when I watched you in Australia in the early years, where you were developing what I termed at the time an in-shoot, that's a baseball term, and it just seemed to me to be as close to an in-shoot as anything I'd ever noticed. It was a wonderful delivery with the old ball, not bowled with the normal in-swinging hand and body action, and swinging so late it seemed to me the batsman was into his shot as the ball was beginning to move in the air. And I particularly remember Greg Chappell one day in Perth where you spread-eeled him.
Yep. You see, we in Pakistan, we developed the reverse swing, but it develops there because of the hard wickets. I mean, the ball just gets completely roughed up, and you cannot swing it the normal way. I mean, if you put the shine on the outside, the ball swings swings away. Unlike normally, or in England especially, where the ball swings in. This really is a hard wicket thing, where wickets are hard and the outfield is very rough. And we got used to it. But in England, they've only started seeing it ever since they changed the ball. I mean, somehow from 1981, there's been legislation against the ball, against the higher seams. Then I saw in 89 again they reduced the seams. And for some reason, the ball here swings too. Otherwise, in England, it never used to reverse swing.
What about 1982 then? Pakistan's first ever Test victory over England at Lord's. The tremendous excitement of the Headingley match. And still the awful disappointment, I imagine, of losing the series 2-1.
Yes, it was my first Test series as captain. I was quite intense in that series because I had to prove myself as a captain, and then everyone was comparing me to Botham as an all-rounder, so I was determined to sort of do well on both accounts. And so I played it under a lot of pressure, and I thought we could easily have won the Test series at the end. And to have lost at Headingley was quite disappointing, especially since we had a very good batting lineup and it kept collapsing.
Oh, it must be. He almost did it once before. ImranKhan with that in-dipper. And an error of judgment from Randall, following on the one he allowed to pass a little earlier that went just about over the top of off-stump.
He's gone this time. A little outside edge, David Garr goes for 74, and if anybody deserved to take the wicket, it was surely Imran. His second wicket, 164 for 3 now, England. And his bowling. Botham's gone. Beaten there with a fine delivery. A little bit of extra pace too. Seemed to have been in fact beaten by the pace. And a great feather in Imran's cap to get rid of Ian Botham for 2.
Well, that didn't get up at all. But even that's not going to be any consolation for Jeff Miller on 47. It's out. Must be. That one looked plumb. A lot of the earlier appeals were quite a bit away from being out, but that one looked plumb. And that's out as well. Not much doubt about that. Beaten for pace. Oh, well done. That's a fine catch. And played on. Randall has gone. And he won't be too pleased about that, because he'll realise later that Eddie Hemmings, in fact, is playing pretty well at the moment. ImranKhan taking straight. I think he was expecting that turning.
I must say, I wouldn't fancy being the short leg fielder there.
Well, that's 4 runs. Oh, another bad ball. Pitching leg stump, allowing a nice free, easy swing. So ImranKhan making the most of that.
Good shot. Went past Bob Willis like a rocket. Even better. Six. Up comes Imran's 50. .54 to ImranKhan, 188 for 9. And that's an even bigger 6. There won't have been many bigger hits on this ground. Three men out the boundary, one at long off, one at long on, and one at deep mid wicket. Safely away behind point. Imran goes to 65. Hold him, finish. Imran out, bowled by Jeff Miller, and England win this first Test match against Pakistan by 113 runs. What's it like captaining a Pakistan side? Is everyone of effervescent character?
Well, that particular time was very tough because there were, I think, about 3 or 4 ex-captains under me, and 2 ex-vice captains under me. And they were, I found it difficult because I felt that I was on trial. I had never even captained a team except for 1 year at Oxford. So it was all, I wasn't sure of myself, and I was under a lot of pressure.
What kind of a captain are you? Are you one who makes all the decisions and says that's it, or are you a consensus captain? How do you go about it in the Pakistan dressing room?
In the team selection, normally I take people's views, but I always make my decision, and I firmly believe that a captain must be in charge of team selection. Because in our country, I don't know, much less so abroad, but in Pakistan, if a team loses, the captain, no matter whether he's in charge of team selection or not, he gets hell from the press and everyone. He stands to, if we look back at the record of all our captains, they've all been sort of, in a very undignified way, been removed. So I felt that if I had to take the blame, I might as well take the decisions, and I felt that I was better equipped to take decisions because I drew up before every match or series, I drew up a strategy. I knew the players I had in mind, and I wanted to be very much part of the selection process. As for the decisions during the match, there are times, I believe that I encourage players to come and give me their views. I see nothing wrong with players saying, look, I think maybe you should try this. I encourage that. But decisions I take myself.
He's got to be out here. And ImranKhan has taken his first wicket. Mansur Akhtar takes the catch. Gower has gone for 29, having survived time after time outside the off stump to ImranKhan, and finally the Pakistan captain claims a well-deserved wicket.
And he's out this time, the finger's gone up, the feeler's been answered in Imran's favour, and Pakistan, if they wish now, of course, can make England follow on. Desolate, disappointed Jackman there. looking at his bat, not terribly happy. He feels he's let the side down. And he's dropped him. No, he's caught him. Second, third attempt. Tavri has gone for 82, and finally ImranKhan. Huge sigh of relief all over his face, has taken his first wicket and reduced England to 224 for 8.
And that's out. ImranKhan has struck again. Eddie Hemmings caught at the wicket by Wasim Bari. 235 for 9 now. Hemmings made 14. And in the centre of your picture there, Mudassir Nazar, who took 6 wickets today. Fantastic performance. 4. That's the winning run. Javed races from the field. Mohsin Khan doesn't. He's kissing the ground out there. And the Pakistan dressing room is delirious. Do you get much of players coming up to you and saying, you know, why don't you do this or why don't you do that?
Well, in the case of Javed, one didn't have much choice because whether I liked it or not, I got advice, which was good. I mean, a lot of times he came up, his mind is always working, and he used to give me some good advice. Mudassir was someone who I used to talk to a lot because I thought he had a very good cricketing brain. But I always knew why. I mean, for instance, Javed, I knew didn't rate spinners, and I knew that he would always not want me to put on a spinner. And at the same time, Mudassir I knew was not very daring. I mean, I knew he hated taking risks. So, you know, I knew their limitations when they used to come and give advice. And I think that as long as you're aware, there's some very useful advice from the players. I remember when I was a player, I hated the captains who thought they were God and, you know, you couldn't dare to give them advice.
I suppose you've got all different types of characters in a team, and the main thing is to be able to use each of those characters to the team's best advantage.
Absolutely. I also believe that, you know, no way should a captain bring his own dislikes and likes into team selection. I think that whoever is good enough to play for the country and you believe he's going to do a job, you have to play along with him. I mean, there were 1 or 2 characters I didn't get along with, or I actually didn't like that much. I would rather they wouldn't be in the team. But for the sake of the team, I always compromised. I thought I had to handle them differently, and I would. I never let them know that, you know, I didn't like them particularly. And I believe that that's the duty of the captain to do so. I don't think that he should, just because someone doesn't fit in his game plan, he kicks him out.
Go for 4, but it was a scary moment for Pakistan players sitting back in the dressing room, particularly the man next in. What a marvellous hit. Almost as though he's waiting for it. A half-pace bouncer from Botham.
That's beautifully placed again by Imran, racing away for 4 more.
A very good half-century it is. ImranKhan stood fast when the others were collapsing. Went through some very frustrating moments, but there's a half-century for him. That's a very good shot. That wasn't all that short. 44 runs this partnership has added so far. That's not a good delivery. Hell of a shot. He just gave it a little bit of extra right hand and hit it away into the crowd.
And that's out. Beale upheld this time. So Alan Lamb yet to score. Imran the bowler. And he's gone. So a great disappointment for Alan and England, but another wicket for Imran. Fall into the short ball and nicely picked up at square leg. Imran to continue. And that's taken. No doubt about that one. Beautiful catch at forward short leg. Imran strikes again, and the man they must have delighted to see the back of has gone, Chris Tavery, for 22. And England in considerable trouble here now at 77 for 4, with Imran having taken 3 wickets. And he's gone this time. Beautifully taken at second slip. So Imran takes the wicket of Bob Taylor. And then Taylor goes for 18. Well, it's all over. Chapman goes off the very second ball, and it couldn't be better for the Pakistan supporters there. Up go the flags again. Exactly what Imran wanted. That gives him 5 wickets in the match.
And Abdul Qadir is the spectator at the non-strikers end as ImranKhan belts with us again straight down the ground. He must do this now. Only 3 more wickets to fall. Yeah, it's going to be quite safe. Well, that's sensible thinking from ImranKhan. Field comes in to save the single. He's got faith in Sikandar. Beautiful stroke. Take what you can is the answer in this situation, and ImranKhan has played it beautifully out there today. A good catch by Randall. Well, Imran had to try it, and it almost came off. Only the quickness of Randall there at mid-wicket was able to take the last wicket.
And that's edged, and he's gone. So immediately after putting up the 100, ImranKhan takes the first wicket. And the light holding steady at the moment, hasn't deteriorated. That's kept low and he's out. Yes. Getting once again LBW. How many times does he get out LBW? Caught on the back foot again. Imran takes his second wicket. So Imran to Randall. And he's out. And Imran struck again. Another big confident shout. Randall goes LBW for naught. And there go the flags.
Now, you're talking about spinners, and one of the great spinners ever to grace the game, as far as I'm concerned, is Abdul Qadir. And I've seen him bowl wonderfully well. Australia and Qadir, well, Australia's not quite your oldest enemy on the cricket field, but you've always had some good contests against them. And in Pakistan in 1982, you won a 3-match series, and you and Abdul Qadir had a bit of a hand in it.
Yes, Qadir was in peak form. He went back, he was brimming with confidence. And of course, I had been criticized a lot because I had insisted on his selection on the England tour. And a section of the press was just attacking me, even though I thought he was very successful in England. When he went back, people kept saying, look how few wickets he got in the test matches, and they really crucified him still. So when the Australian series started, there was a lot of pressure on him. And in the first test, he bowled badly in the first innings. And the press then said, is it worth playing him? And he was again roasted. In the second innings, he came back, got 5 wickets, won us the test, and he never looked back. He literally won us that series, especially the second test, single-handedly.
Now it's Imran to Alan Border, and absolutely plumb, providing the ball pitched between leg stump and leg stump. Rodney Marsh. Iqbal Sikandar is the sub-fielder there, and that's another wicket to Imran.
Place in the same position at gully. Imran to Ritchie.
Nothing could have been more plumb than that. Greg Ritchie gone LBW to Imran. Terry Alderman underlining that he's a great bowler, but not necessarily a great all-rounder. 8 wickets in the match for you, Imran. A win in all 3 test matches. The first innings wickets of Border, Marsh, Ritchie and Alderman for just 45 runs, and then 4 for 35 in the second innings. The series 3-0, and for Abdul Qadir, 22 wickets in the series. Now back to your performances. When you finished playing, you'd made over 3,000 runs and taken more than 300 wickets at Test level. But it was in 1982 that you took your 200th wicket. At that stage, did you reckon you'd play long enough and do well enough to reach 3,300?
No, not at all, Richie. There were two reasons for it. One, that I never really looked that far ahead. In cricket, I thought I was 30 and I could finish any time. There was never any long-term planning in my mind about cricket. Never was, even when I was younger. And the other thing was that in Pakistan, we never played much cricket. I mean, our test cricket until until the end of 70s, I hardly played any test matches. I mean, I'd been playing for 9 years. And I mean, I played barely a handful of tests. The other thing was that the wickets were always prepared for spinners or to dull the opposition pace bowlers. So I remember playing matches when for 3 years, I reckon from 78 to 81, I was at my quickest. I opened the bowling with Iqbal Qasim, who was a spinner. And I used to be given 5 overs and then that was it. I never got a look in because the wickets were tailor-made for spinners. And so, I mean, I never looked at records as such because, I thought there's not much chance with... if I played for England, where you had 6 matches, 5 tests in England, 5 abroad, so 10 test matches a year, most of the time on useful wickets, maybe I would have looked at records. But at the time, I thought I wouldn't get that many wickets.
Well, that 200th wicket came up in the test match against India at Karachi.
And that could be a run out.
Yes, he's gone. He has to go. What a misunderstanding. And very good run out there by Imran.
A little under pressure for India.
Next to go, Venkata.
And that one is out. Yes, he's gone. Caught a third slip. What a brilliant catch by Mohsen.
10 for 2, and Amanat was also a victim of Imran. Now Doshi faces the Pakistan captain. India all out 169. Imran 3 for 19, and Pakistan in turn made 452. Now in the second innings, Gavaskar once again faces Imran. Vishwanath now faces the Pakistan all-rounder, 199 wickets to ImranKhan.
There's an appeal for LBW and he's out. Yes, that ball came in. Mohinder going forward. And he's out, LBW. And Imran has struck again. The eagle has swooped. And he's bowled him. Clean bowled. What a magnificent delivery. And this is an incredible spell. The greatest that one can see from a great fast bowler. There he is, he's completely electrified this crowd, and in fact he's brought them to their feet. Just look at them. He's bowled him! He's bowled him! Kapil Dev is bowled, and Imran has won the first round of the Kapil Dev Imran show.
Venkata on 79 facing Imran.
That's a good delivery. There's an appeal for a catch behind and he's out. That's the breakthrough. Rings Harkar gone. Court Bari bowled Imran. Appeal for LBW and he's out. That won the Indepa. Imran on a hat-trick. Doshi on a king pair. And Pakistan requiring 1 wicket for an innings victory. Imran to Doshi. The hat-trick avoided, the king pair avoided. Imran Now to Doshi. 4 slips a gully. He's bowled him. That's it. It's all over. India have lost. ImranKhan taking his 8th wicket. India have lost the 2nd test match here at Karachi.
And then in the next test in Faisalabad, a century and 11 wickets for you.
Yeah, that was very satisfying. The wicket's much more than the century because it was a really placid wicket. To get 11 wickets against a good Indian batting lineup. I mean, there were some very fine players, Sunil Gavaskar, Dilip Bensarkar, and one of the best players of fast bowling, Mohinder Amarnath, who went on and took on the West Indies single-handedly, averaged 70 in the Caribbean, when the West Indies pace bowling was at its peak. So, and Vishwanath, I mean, they were all fine batsmen. And
that's a pretty good lineup.
To bowl them out twice on a Faisalabad wicket, I thought, I was at my peak.
You certainly were. On to Faisalabad. First you took Bensarkar for the 3rd time in a row.
There's no appeal for LBW and he's out.
Then it was Gavaskar again for the 3rd consecutive time.
He should be out. Caught, yes. Scored caught by Salim Malik.
Kapil Dev was the next scalp.
Appeal or Kapil Dev out.
Followed by Patel, who was top scorer with 84.
Or Patil out.
Kimani and Madan Lal followed. That's a total of 6 for 98. You then made 117 and took a further 5 for 82 in the 2nd innings, which I put down as a remarkable 2 test matches with 150 runs and 22 wickets. And just 4 of those wickets, unfortunately, exist in the archives. Well, now, with all the bowling there and on absolutely dead flat tracks, there must have been a few injuries around. Even if you weren't bowling all that many overs, it's not at all easy physically to get through there. What are the worst problems you've had? What sort of fitness regime do you go through?
When I was younger, I hardly used to do any fitness training. I mean, I used to just bowl a lot of overs. It might not have been for Pakistan, but for my first-class teams in Sussex or Worcester before, I mean, I always bowled a lot of overs, and I was naturally fit because I was an all-round sportsman at school. I could swim, I could play hockey, squash. So I was just a naturally a fit person. In Pakistan, when I became the captain, I used to bowl a lot of overs because we changed the wickets. Instead of making spinning wickets, I used to try and tell them to make wickets with bounce or green wickets. And so I used to bowl a lot of overs. And then I realized that I had to do more training because I found, and this is in my late 20s, I discovered that I could sustain my pace longer. So I built a circuit for myself. I started sprinting. I would do if a part of my body would get stiff, I realized that was weak, so I had to build it up. So I went through a regime where gradually, as I noticed weaknesses in my body, I developed some exercise for them.
Where did you do the circuit?
This was every morning. I would do loosening exercises. And then when on my days off, I would just do some extra running and sprinting.
Now, what about peace of mind? How big a part does that play in your fitness? Because I know you're quite keen on occasionally getting away from all the stress. You've done walks and you've done things in Pakistan and in other countries.
You see, the real pressure mounted on me when I became captain. And I used to find that I would be because it wasn't just my own performance I had to worry about, it was the teams as well. And also, I played most of my cricket in the background of a very hostile section of the press in my own country, who were always, I felt there was this knife waiting for me. And the moment I failed, they would get at me. And it put a lot of pressure on me. So when I had time off, the best way I would relax was partridge shooting. I mean, I really used to, on rest days of test matches, I would do that and come back completely refreshed.
And what about your travels? How did you use that to relieve stress when you were, you did some things like walks and photography things? And
Yes, I mean, I spent, as a boy, we always, my parents used to take us to the foothills of the Himalayas, and we would spend our summer there. And I have still to this day, I'm completely addicted to mountains. So whenever I have time off, again, I would go in trekking in the mountains. Shooting also was in the mountains. It was a sort of way of being out in the open, and shooting was just pure adrenaline.
Well, we're talking about injuries, and you actually had to play as a batsman against Australia in 1983, weren't able to bowl, and still became one of the few cricketers to do the test double of 2,000 runs and 200 wickets.
Well, that was a pretty good shot, that. Imran onto the back foot and hitting that ball very, very hard indeed.
Beautiful placement. And exquisite timing as well, because the ball has continued to race over the outfield there with limited force exerted by the batsman. That'll take him on now to 48. Didn't quite time that. It came perhaps off the shoulder of the bat, or even off the gloves, it may have been. John Maguire to ImranKhan.
It's a good shot from Imran. He's timed that beautifully. Phillips is very deep at third man, and that's a long boundary. And it brings up his 50 in fine style. It's also the 50 partnership and 400 for Pakistan.
Fine shot and a fine innings. As he hammers that through mid-off, a glorious four. Used his feet, got to the pitch of it, and his highest score against Australia in this country.
That's an outside edge, and Lilly has beaten Imran with the leg cutter, and a very relieved Dennis Lilly it is.
Greg Matthews to ImranKhan.
That's away past the vacant slip area. Outfield is very fast. And the boundary to Imran. And that's an outside edge, but bouncing in front of Marsh. And a very handy boundary there to Imran.
Yes, gone for four, but it was a chance for a moment. Beautiful shot. It's a sensible cricket.
Imran's 50 and an excellent double. And what a great shot by Imran then. Following up the shot off the back foot through the covers. He was quick to pick that one up. The most difficult shot to play off the back foot. Lawson going for the shorter one. Shot. Smashed away off the back foot by Imran. What a class player he is, and bearing in mind that he had very few runs behind him before he went into this match.
Here's Lilly now coming into ImranKhan. In the air, Lawson coming, Maguire rather coming around. Good. Well, crucial catch that.
And that was a let-off for Imran. So first chance to Imran and a disappointed Dennis Lilly.
Did you reckon at that stage your bowling career might be over?
For some reason, instinctively, I never believed it. My instinct kept telling me that, I'll bowl again. Although at one stage, especially when the stress fracture had opened up a second time, a lot of the medical opinions started believing that I wouldn't bowl again. But I always felt I would.
It's a pretty big thing to overcome, to have a mental thing like that dogging you and know that you might not be able to run up again in a test match.
I have to say that I came across some of the worst medical advice when I look back. I mean, it was a stress fracture. The only way it was going to heal was complete rest, and they should never have allowed me to play until the stress fracture was healed. But twice I was they said, look, it's okay, if you start playing, it'll keep healing. And in fact, both times when I played, it opened up again. And the last time, actually, I did begin to feel that maybe it won't heal again. But once it healed, there were occasionally doubts when I would feel pain in my leg, but I knew that it was gone, it was in the past.
While we're on medical matters, what about your hospital?
Well, really, it was since my mother died, I decided that I wanted to build a cancer hospital in Pakistan, knowing that in the whole of the country, 120 million people, there's not one proper cancer institution. And my mother died because, she didn't get the cancer diagnosed early. It was one of those cancers, had it been diagnosed early, it would have been, it has very high success ratio. So when I saw her die in so much pain, it changed me a lot, it affected me deeply. And that it became an obsession to build this hospital. And the more resistance I got, the more people kept saying that it's not possible, the more determined I became. And we now are in a position that it's going to open next year. I still need to collect money, and I believe that there's a lot of hard work to be done. But I can't tell you the fulfillment and sense of satisfaction I get when I go to the site and see this huge structure coming up.
That does sound wonderful. You mentioned the word obsession. It doesn't sound like an obsession to me. It sounds like something quite wonderful.
Obsession in the sense that, I was obsessed because everyone said it's not possible. The government hasn't been able to set it up, they felt. It's a very capital-intensive hospital. The equipment is very expensive. The running costs are high. So I was just deterred at every stage. And so, I became obsessed. I had to do it. And really now, it is absolutely something wonderful.
Back on the cricket scene, it was in 1985 that Javed again resigned the captaincy. He said this time to concentrate on his batting. Now, I know Javed is a great cricketer, marvellous player, tremendous scrapper to have in your team when things aren't going quite well. But what's the real story behind Javed being captain and making so many resignations?
For some reason, people kept saying that, he was always removed when I used to come back into the team. In fact, really, he always optionally used to step down from captaincy. I mean, when I retired in 1987 and Pakistan team was due to go to the West Indies in 1988, he had told the board that he was unavailable to captain against the West Indies anyway. And I wasn't even then in the reckoning. So, I mean, Javed maybe at times has felt that, captaincy has been a burden for him. He prefers to sort of, be a vice captain. He still gives advice. He has all the respect in the team. And at the same time, he doesn't have the additional pressure on his batting. So he himself has always stepped down.
1985 and 1986 saw no diminishing of your bowling skills now that stress fracture had healed.
Where to money is caught behind.
De Silva was next to go to Imran, hit wicket 2. Now Jay Ratnayaka faces Imran.
And there's an appeal for a caught behind, is caught.
Imran to Ramesh Ratnayaka.
He's bowled him.
Vetamuni fell with no score on the board.
Imran to run at Tunga, cuts and he's caught. Caught at gully by Salim Malik. Imran to Demel. And he's bowled him. Bowled him off and middle.
And Ramesh Ratnayaka fell 12 runs later, 200 for 9.
Imran goes in with the roar of the crowd behind him. Vijaytoria is out, LBW, and it's all over for Sri Lanka.
In 1986-87, following a win in Faisalabad, you went on to Lahore, your home ground, and what a memorable return. The first man to go, Larry Gomes.
And he's given out LBW, Gordon Greenwich at the other end, but Larry Gomes is gone. And Pakistan get a wicket through ImranKhan. Larry Gomes the man out, LBW.
Imran to Dujan. And he's bowled it. The one which came back onto
the wicket and got the middle stump uprooted, keeping low.
189 for 7, the West Indies. Imran to Butts. That was through him. There's an appeal for caught behind and he's out.
Very, very fine indeed.
So the breakthrough Pakistan looking for has come in the first over. Imran has struck and Butts is out. Caught Salim Yusuf. Bowled him. That's the end of Gray.
Bowled by Imran for a haul of 5 for 59. But Pakistan, all out 77 in the second innings, lost by an innings to the West Indians. A drawn game at Karachi and 6 for 46 for ImranKhan.
रवि शास्त्री इमरान खान पीछे हटे और ड्राइव किया एक्स्ट्रा कवर और मिड ऑफ के बीच में से 4 रन और इस बार आगे आकर ऊंचा उठाया और ये 6 बहुत ही ऊंचा और बिल्कुल स्टेडियम के बाहर की तरफ
He really strikes it with a great deal of contempt. When he hits it, it stays hit.
और इस बार स्वीप किया फिर से 4 रन डीप बैकवर्ड स्क्वायर लेग बाउंड्री की तरफ
In 1986-87 against India, mightn't have taken many wickets, but with scores of 135 and 66 and then 72 in successive test matches, all 3 games still remain drawn. Well, in 1987, you had Pakistan's 4th victory in tests against England in England, this one by an innings at 18 at Headingley, and your own 300th test wicket in the course of taking 10 in the match. And it was the 5th time you'd done that. Not only that, but you're understandably player of the match and the series.
Yes, that tour gave me a lot of satisfaction. England was on a high. Mike Gatting had just won the Ashes, beaten Australia in Australia. And, I mean, the team was on the up. It was a much stronger team than, for instance, the English team right now, especially in the bowling department. And really, we struggled in the first 2 matches. We weren't really on top. England were doing well. And then to suddenly come back and win the 3rd test, and then the team just lifted itself and we had confidence in ourselves.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Full-length delivery. Probably will have to just get a bit over it or a bit outside it there. Well, that's a very, very fine innings there. And that's a shout, and Grenville is out, caught behind. Giving Imran his 2nd wicket.
And it's to be Tim Robinson to take strike with 1 run on the board.
And a lot of movement and a shout, and he's out. And certainly that nipped back quite a bit. Tim Robinson gets caught on the back foot. Delivery, probably not coming back into him like he expected. But again, just had a little bit of bounce. That certainly carried well to the keeper. So that's Imran's 2nd strike of the morning.
And that's gone inside edge, played on, 31 to 5.
There's a shout there, and he's being given out. Didn't look very happy with that, didn't Chris Broad?
And he's gone. Trying to leave the ball, taken by Salim Malik at first slip. England in trouble again, 9 for 2.
Imran to Athi.
Well bowled. Beautifully bowled. It's that one that darts back so sharply from outside the off stump.
David Gower dragging that back on. Short of a length, just outside off stump. Inside edge, back into the stumps. The first innings he was letting it go on the edge and went down onto the wicket, so that's twice in the match. A little bit unlucky there for David Gower.
A very attacking field. Imran into Jack Richards.
Oh, that's out. That's a fine catch. Imran swinging the ball in, just make it bounce a little, going off the shoulder of the bat. Pretty quick to Ijaz at short leg there, and a very good catch.
ImranKhan takes his 300th Test wicket. Joins a very exclusive band of players.
There's a shout, and David Capel being given out there, caught by Ijaz at short leg. Could have been a little nick onto the pad, that. It didn't go anywhere near as quick as the one he caught there from Jack Richards.
Here's Imran to Dilly.
Well, that's it. Imran bowling Graham Dilly with a full-length delivery there, and 7 wickets in the innings for ImranKhan.
We weren't as good a team as the Pakistan team is right now either.
Is that because of the bowling strength you have now?
Yeah, we've got a formidable bowling strength. Then Wasim wasn't the bowler what he's now. We didn't have a bowler like Waqar or Aqib, who are very fine bowlers. And of course we had Qadir, but he didn't come in the early part of the tour. He came at the end and almost won us the last test. But the thing is, England were a much better side, and to have beaten them, it gave me a lot of satisfaction.
ImranKhan then to Chris Broad. And there's a shout, and Chris Broad there, caught behind the wicket. Just playing it one a little wide, just a little bit extra bounce, and that's the breakthrough for Pakistan. ImranKhan then to Bilathi. And that was well bowled. He got close to the wicket, and he bowled one that just held up, didn't go in. I think Bilathi probably expecting the ball to go into him, got turned round, and the off stump went out of the ground.
And he's gone this time. That's beautifully bowled by ImranKhan. A classic delivery going across the left-hander. Gower didn't do much wrong, but it still found the outside edge, and he's gone for 61. No need to worry any further about Night Watchman. That was beautifully bowled. In this case, Imran has smashed the stump. That's out. Gatting has gone. ImranKhan, with his medium paces, has picked up his 5th wicket. 21 times he's done that in Test match cricket now, and it's the 4th time he's done it against England.
I think Graham Dill's a little late in putting up there. And that's out this time. Chris Broad hitting that away on the leg side, and that must have taken almost the leading edge or the back of the bat. And Mudassir in the 4th slip area, taking a quite comfortable catch.
Bowled in with a good delivery coming in from outside off stump. Well bowled by ImranKhan.
Well, that's not a bad way to get off the mark. In both and pitching short. ImranKhan going for the pull. A long run there for Neil Radford. 3 runs taken. asked what he thinks of that. Straight into the crowd over long on. No trouble at all.
Well, the captain's come to impose himself.
Both of them just have a pitch in there, and ImranKhan very quickly onto that through extra cover.
Change in the attack.
Great pleasure there for that section of the crowd, and appreciation from all over for the half-century for the Pakistan captain.
Oh, that's a cracking square drive, 4 runs. And that's ImranKhan's highest score against England, beating the 67 previously made at Headingley. A beautiful pull shot there, not bothering to try and get inside it and pull it to square leg, just leaning back and hitting it over long on for 4.
It's a nice shot from Imran. Gadding has the chase there. He's going to get away from him down the hill. Once again, a delightful stroke from the Pakistan captain. Good shot.
'99.
100 in what he says will be his last test match. A great performance from ImranKhan. Beautiful innings. Marvellous moment from him. Applause from Javed, from his teammates. Embrew the ball.
Well, it's a good stroke, but John a bit annoyed. There's nobody at all on the offside behind square, and he can't afford to be cut. And running forward, and that could be out. And yes, magnificent piece of fielding by him, both of them. Took the ball short of the wicket and threw the stumps down at the bowler's end. Well, it takes something like that to change a game.
Oh, and he's gone. Beautifully bowled. What a good delivery. Had to play at it. Nicely caught by Salim Yusuf. Following that series, there was a bicentenary match at Lord's, rest of the world against MCC. You took the first wicket, that of Chris Broad, and then made 82. And Imran is going to get into it now as well.
John Embry then to ImranKhan. Well, that's a beautiful strike there, down the wicket, waited for the ball and then straight through the line. And 6 runs. Imran, a very strong man when he decides to hit the ball. No real effort put into that, just perfect timing. Well, Imran's quite content just to forward defence, and immediately the ball is right for hitting. It's 4 runs, and it really is a tremendous striker. Beautiful shot off the back foot there.
First time from the nursery end for Richard Hadley. ImranKhan has taken straight. That's a great shot. Good square cut. Nice footwork. Hadley just a little short there. There's 2 great shots this over, one from a slightly short delivery And that one for Imran to bring up his half-century from an away swinger right in the slot. There's Marshall now. If you hit them that high, they've got to be caught. The adage is, give it a real smack if you're going to have a go.
And John Embry now taking over at the pavilion end. Well, that's a big one, is that? Way into the stands. Ravi Shastri from the nursery end. I don't really think Mike Gatting fancied that too much. And that's the 350 up. Certainly a magnificent stroke. The last 50 coming off 69 balls. That's the fastest 50 of the innings. Oh, and a bit of reward there for Ravi Shastri. He's bowled pretty well this match, and Imran getting back, trying to drive it off the back foot. Probably did him on length a bit. A little bit too full.
Well, the following year was quite significant because in New Zealand you joined Ian Botham and Kapil Dev as the only cricketers ever to score 3,000 runs and take 300 wickets in test matches. Nice moment?
Yeah, it was, but the series in New Zealand was very dull. The wickets were such, neither team could force a result. Of course, we had our umpiring controversies too. Yeah, it wasn't a memorable series.
Well, good-looking shot. ImranKhan, 4 runs. That's a nice stroke. Then go to the fence for 4 runs. Bok was wide, and Imran chased it and struck it away through the covers. Away he goes again. He sliced this one away down backward a point, and 4 runs. Big hit here from Imran. This will go all the way. That's a huge hit. 6 runs. That's a lovely shot. Straight through the covers for 4 runs. So 1 run required by Imran now to complete 3,000 in Test cricket.
Very useful performance by Imran, isn't it? 3,000 test runs.
And ImranKhan has those 3,000 runs in Test cricket. He's the 8th Pakistani to do that, but more significantly, the 3rd player in Test history to perform the double of scoring 3,000 and taking 300 wickets, the other 2 being England's Ian Botham and India's Kapil Dev.
Then back to Pakistan and a splendid century against India. A back foot drive, square of the wicket. A magnificent shot, and 50 to Imran, who's in great touch in this partnership with Salim Malik. Confirmation of the 50 from that stroke by Imran. Not even the great Kapil Dev is spared. Wonderful timing and great placement of the ball by Imran once again.
.98 to Imran. Drives. That may be it. That's his 100. Congratulations from Salim Yusuf.
Now, Imran, one of the greatest batting partnerships I've ever seen was the one between you and Wasim Akram in Adelaide in 1990, when it seemed the Australians were about to wrap up the series 2-0. It was one of the most exciting things I've seen in watching 40 years of cricket. Absolutely tremendous. It was Wasim Akram's first Test match century. He hit 18 fours and a 6, but you batted for 485 minutes in a match-saving 136. And how highly do you rate that?
Certainly one of the best innings I've ever played. Much more importantly, because our team would have been destroyed had we lost that match. It was just the way we were going down. It mattered a lot to me because I had lost my bowling for some reason, and I could only justify my position in the team as a batsman. And also because that day Javed was injured, he didn't come at his usual number at 4. Salim Malik had a bruise on his thumb, so he didn't want to bat.
Batted number 8, in fact.
Yeah, and I, who had just bowled 2.5 hours in quite hot conditions, I had barely taken my bowling boots off when I was batting at, I think, 3 for 7. And in the context of the match and the series, and for my own self-respect, it was a very important innings.
That's a short ball, beautifully played by Imran. Well, he really got onto that one, and he's pulled that superbly. It didn't get much above chest high, and that's the way to play a pull shot. Now, those of you who want to know how to do it, have a look at this one and see if you can remember it. And that was an example of a lovely shot from ImranKhan.
As Imran gets that through the gully, 3 for 2. It's going to the long boundary. Imran going quickly back for the 3rd. It's a long throw, and he's coming back for the 4th. 50 for ImranKhan. Great knock by the Pakistan captain.
Yes, that's a fantastic effort by ImranKhan in the circumstances.
Beautifully placed. Straight through the middle between Dean Jones and Alan Border. Beautifully placed there by ImranKhan. He hasn't played a lot of attacking shots today, but when he's gone after one, he's obviously been very sure that he can put it away.
Drive, that's down the ground, that's knocked away by Campbell. They're going through to the single, that's 100 for Imran. Well played, a superb captain's knock.
His first 100 against Australia. 6 hours and 24 minutes he's been at the crease.
As opposed to allow him to do that, and while it wasn't a very good ball, it was a very straightforward pull shot down to the boundary for 4. That brings up the 250 for Pakistan, 5 wickets down. Got that one away and into the gap, all the way along the ground. And a little glance down towards Merv Hughes, who hasn't wasted much time with the glare on that occasion. And that's a very good shot from Imran. He's hit it through the gap, and the ball rolling away down to that very long boundary, and into the fence she goes. So yet another 4 to the Pakistanis.
Well, the gap was left there to tempt the batsman, Imran, to hit down the ground, and that's exactly what he did. And he's got him. At long last, Taylor has broken through with the slightly higher flighted delivery and good tactics not to put the man out. They gave him the chance to hit down the ground. He did it successfully, and he was then drawn into having another go. 136, his highest score in Test cricket. Yes, a wonderful performance down there in Adelaide, and tremendously exciting to watch. And I can imagine it was exciting to take part in as well. Always sad to finish up a Test career, but you made 93 not out in the first Test match of the series against Sri Lanka. And how did it feel when you walked off at Test field for the last time?
Really, I never even looked at it like that. You know, for me, the main goal was the World Cup, and the Sri Lankan Test series was really a preparation for it. There were no sort of special sentiments. My mind was all geared to win the World Cup.
In that campaign, every shot in the book for Imran. First off Rumenaika, the delicate leg glance with the ball racing away to the fine leg boundary. Then the hook, a vicious one too off Rumesh Ratnayaka. Perfect positioning against a bowler who's often just that little bit quicker than he looks.
It's a lovely shot. That's gone for 4. That's up in the air. It could be caught, or is it going to be 6? It's 6. 6. Some now signaled by umpire Rapani. Once again, use of the feet, and this time it is over long on, and that's 6 more. As if just by way of change, instead of hitting it over long off, he hit it over long on, and that is Imran's 50. Imran Khan is now not out 52. That's a high and mighty one, 6 runs.
Limited overs internationals and World Cup games have played a big part in your career. So too the domestic competitions in England, that's the Gillette Cup, which is now the NatWest, the Benson Hedges and the Sunday League.
No ball, didn't make much difference, pulled away to deep long leg by Imran for 4. Imran Khan now has moved on to 20 out of 214 for 6. Really given that the slog. Cross-butt thump over the top. So second 6 over the screen. John Parker putting one just to the left of it, and that was a real country mow. There's more there for him. Backed away through the offside before. And this is the value of an all-rounder coming in at number 7. At one stage earlier in the season, there was a chance that the Worcester batting might have collapsed at this stage. But Imran Khan, test match bowler and all-rounder, very handy man coming in at 7. Moved on to 35 now, 232 for 6, this developing into a good Worcester total. And the shot repeated. Turner's accuracy at fault here. Has to go through for 4 more. There it is. A good hand for Imran Khan. And making the 1 into 2 there. So Imran going to 51. Exhilarating performance from the Pakistani Test cricketer.
It's a good shot to start with. Banging into the fence behind square leg. Ball a poor length from Bill Bourne. Perryman now to Imran. Shot, 4 runs. That might push the field back a bit. They were all in for the single there. It's in the air and it should be out. Perryman's the man under it, and he's caught it safely. And it was a no ball called by umpire Palmer. So joy for a moment for all the fieldsmen. Perryman's looking astonished down there. Straying in line down outside the leg stump.
Found the gap nicely there. Wasn't a very big one either between Kanhai and Rouse. And another unavailing chase for a fielder on this very fast outfield. Stroked away quite elegantly there by ImranKhan. That's a good shot. Picked his spot nicely and collects 4. Good work there by Imran, using his feet nicely. Knew where the gap was there on the onside. Knew if he could clear Kanhai, he'd got a certain boundary. And that's well clear of David Brown. Umpire looking, yes, over the rope. 6 runs. So the first 6, a glorious straight drive there by Imran. That's a fine way to go to your 50. Not quite where intended. Short, he was looking to pull that away to mid-wicket. Got a thick edge and gets 4 down to fine leg. So they all count, and there are some delighted Worcester supporters. Another flashing cover drive, a glorious shot there from ImranKhan. Really hit that one on the up. It was nothing like a half volley. Powered it away to bring the 200 up for his side.
See 2 runs. There are 2 runs to most places on this field. There are no ropes here today. The field extends right out to the fence. It's out. Caught by Kanhai at extra cover. Quite a firm shot from Imran, and he is out. Caught Kanhai, bowled Byrne, giving that bowler his 3rd wicket, and ImranKhan made 72. 221 for 3 now in the 49th over. He played for 2 counties, Worcestershire and Sussex, and in 1978, in the final against Somerset, you knocked over Ian Botham, which you might not remember, but you certainly won the final, which you will remember.
Yes, I did, but you know, I've sort of lost the battle with Ian at the time, and I was quite upset about it, even though we'd won. For some reason that affected me more, because then, you know, I'm very competitive in the sense that my main ambition was to prove that I was the best all-rounder, and I couldn't bear the thought that he had outplayed me in that game.
Did he outplay you?
He got 70, 80 runs. He got me out, although I got him out, but he had got 70, 80 runs. Yeah, he outplayed me in the match.
ImranKhan to have beaten him. All over the place. Not surprising. It seemed very, very doubtful what was going to happen to that ball when it pitched. Came through at a fairly normal height, and ImranKhan has made the breakthrough. Peter Denning struggling out there for 25 minutes, failed to open his account. And that's it. Desperate effort to plonk another this time. Over the tavern boundary, sees the end of Ian Botham. He's bowled there by ImranKhan for a brilliant 80.
Well, there was almost a chance. It was almost out, but not quite, and it's another 4. 4 overs to go, 177 for 3 Sussex, and coming on with a real rush at the end of the innings. That's another fine flowing shot, no need to chase that. Another 4 to Imran, and he reaches his 50. 73 balls, 1 6, 4 fours, 91 minutes he's been at the crease, and he's really held the innings together. Thomas to Imran. In the air, but again it's safe, perfectly placed. And that's bisecting the fielders for 4. Derek to Imran. That's an amazing stroke there, that way over extra cover from far outside the leg stump. Another 4.
And he's played on. But before he played on, he was deceived by ImranKhan. He was coming back to force or perhaps to pull. And ImranKhan beat him with speed through the air, changed his mind, played it down and onto the stumps. ImranKhan. Now that's close. Yes, I think the other one was going down the leg side, but not that one. That looked as though it was absolutely plumb. Skipper Phil Neal goes, and now Worcestershire are in trouble.
Oh, yes, he's gone too. That came back inside edge, and another catch for Gould. And another crushing blow for the hopes of Worcestershire. Patil is out for 6. 7 gone now for 98.
Oh, it's gone. Just try to run it fine, as so often they do in one-day matches, and Ian Gould takes the catch. Still, that will not take anything away at all from a very fine innings by Andy Hayhurst. It really was cometh the hour, because Lancashire were in terrible trouble at 100 for 5. And now he goes, it's 203 for 6. Off he goes. That's well caught by Ian Gould, because it was quite wide and going wider.
Well, the deep fine leg was very, very wide there. More around about 45 degrees. It's the nearest tickle off the pad. And the stroke was played, so they pick up the 4 runs.
Good shot.
Oh dear. It's all right, I think. Mike Watkinson is the bowler to Imran. Valuable runs there for Sussex, not quite off the middle of the bat. There's no slip. Lancashire dressing room will be a quiet place at the moment. They need wickets. ImranKhan was really struggling. In the end, O'Shaughnessy's throw was over the top and they picked up an overthrow. Abrahams. Well run by Imran. He was struggling for a moment or two. And he raced back to complete his half-century.
And another competitor there for the man of the match. Brilliant piece of fielding on the run. If it had hit the stumps, it would have been probably out. But it wasn't a bad throw when you think he was at full flight. But good cricket all round there.
Quite dark, and that's the way it actually looks out there to the players. Good cricket. And that's it. Leg by signal. Well, now, Sharjah plays a big part in international cricket these days, in limited overs games. We don't see a great deal of it on television. What are the games like there?
Well, you can't imagine the sort of tension there. I mean, no ground ever has had as much tension for me as Sharjah when Pakistan play India, because the crowd is split half and half, and the tension in the match, because the crowd is trying to, you know, I mean, the crowd is there not for cricketing reasons, purely emotional. They're only there because they want India to lose, and the same with the Indian supporters. And that tension makes it's one of the most pressure games for the players.
It sounds quite fascinating. I've read a few accounts of it, and I think you had some very exciting matches in the recent series there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there have been some of the most exciting matches there. Javed became one of the richest cricketers in the world when he hit a six off the last ball to beat India. I mean, you can't imagine the sort of money that poured in. Yeah, it is, because you see, as I said, it's on emotional level.
Well, here's a glance at the 6 for 14 you took there in 1984-85.
And it is going to be Imran from the pavilion end to face him, Ravi Shastri. And there's the first delivery with a deafening roar of approval of this packed stadium. There's an appeal for LBW and he's out! The first ball and sensation here at the Sharjah cricket ground. Imran traps Shastri LBW and this crowd here erupts. Sirikant facing Imran. That's up in the air, he could be gone out, and yes, he's gone. The short pitch delivery, and Sirikant, a very tentative shot, and he's out, caught at square leg, and just look at the Pakistan half of the supporters. There's an appeal for a catch behind, and he's gone. Imran has struck again. Vengsarkar caught behind. And India have lost their third wicket, and what a sensational spell. He's going to be out, caught, and he's gone. Imran has struck again. Gavaskar out, caught behind, playing away from his body.
Imran to Amarnath. Out, fifth wicket gone, Amarnath bowled, and India are in real trouble. 5 down for 34, and Imran has taken his fifth wicket.
He could be out, caught, and he's gone. A great, magnificent catch by the wicketkeeper. What a tremendous catch by Ashraf. And Imran has struck again to get his sixth wicket.
And certainly plenty of excitement there. Now, I said we'd come back to the World Cup. We'll come to the great moment, the really great moment, shortly. But first, let's have a look at some of the games from 1987, particularly the matches involving England at Karachi and Australia, who won the semi-final at Lahore. Now, that was a great moment for Alan Border and the Australians. But what about the reaction in Pakistan?
Well, it stunned me, Richie. I mean, for me, one-day cricket was sort of more exhibition matches. I mean, I enjoyed it, but my real ambitions, aims were in Test cricket. And when we lost the World Cup, I could not believe the reaction. I mean, there was the stunned crowd. Half the crowd was crying, half was in a state of shock. For 2 days, I mean, the streets in Lahore were empty. I was just stunned. I didn't realize, what it meant to them.
ImranKhan to Graham Gooch. And Gooch has gone for the hook shot, flipping it round, it's in the air, and yes, it's out. What's the match from the fielder? It's gone. A little nick, and Downton is caught. Salim Yusuf bowled ImranKhan. Bowled him. Lamb has gone. Looking to cut. Little bit of nip back off the seam by ImranKhan. And ImranKhan is bowling the last but one over. Philip de Freitas, the batsman. And that's out, caught behind. Salim Yusuf, a brilliant catch. Both him. All too much for Greg Dyer, I'm afraid. No sort of technique. Well, what a farewell for Imran He says he'll retire after this series, so this is effectively his last over on Lahore, the ground where he was brought up as a boy and bowled right through his career. Steve Waugh comes into bowl to Imran. And judging by the roar, that's gone for 4 runs. And down the wicket there, Imran, and taking a chance, didn't get there, slower ball. The ball going over mid-wicket for 4 runs, but not a very positive shot. Now that's 4 more runs. That's a delightful shot from ImranKhan. Sam O'Donnell now to bowl to ImranKhan. And that's what most of the crowd came here to see. ImranKhan moving on to 50. Coming off 73 balls with 4 fours. Alan Border coming on himself to bowl to ImranKhan. There's a shout for it. Yes, he's giving him out, caught behind. We were thinking he was shouting for stumping at first because the keeper whipped the bails off. But in fact, he's been given out by umpire Dickie Bird at the far end.
So when the last World Cup came along, I knew that, it was something very important to the people.
So it was, and you weren't going, as they say, all that crash hot at one stage of the World Cup in Australasia. And then that day in Perth, you came out to the centre and did a wonderful interview with Ian Chappell, and you were wearing your Cornered Tiger T-shirt. Tell us about that.
Well, in Australia, everything went wrong. What could go wrong went wrong. I mean, our key bowler, Waqar Younis, before the World Cup, had a stress fracture. But for me, the worst injury was, to me, it was the fittest I'd been in 3 years. I trained hard. I was feeling good. I had begun to bowl better than I'd bowled in 3 years. Everything had fallen into place, and I was like a racehorse who was just dying to get going. And 2 days before I do this injury, which, I knew under normal circumstances I would have had to miss the World Cup. And I ended up playing with painkillers and injections and missed the early 2 matches, which we got destroyed by the West Indies. And to really have come back in that match against Australia, we were like cornered tigers. I told the team, I said, listen, forget about this fear of losing. Get it out of your mind. Because the moment players get scared of losing, they cannot win. And I just said, listen, just go out and just fight and give your best. And if you lose, you do. And really, the attitude changed. I mean, the players just suddenly they were relaxed and fought like tigers.
Indeed they did, and there's no better example of what you've just said about forgetting about the fear of losing, because you brought on Mushtaq Ahmed at a crucial time, and he picked up the wicket of Dean Jones, and the cornered Tigers were right on top.
Absolutely, that was the turning point. And Mushtaq hadn't been bowling that well for us. I mean, in the beginning of this, before the World Cup, we almost sent him back because his first-class team in Pakistan doesn't play him. I mean, they don't play him in very low-standard first-class matches. So when Mushtaq arrived, he was completely out of touch. And really, I wondered whether he would make it. But he's so gutsy. The man really has guts. And he improved with every match. And in that crucial match, and that is for me is the key. I mean, for me, I only rate players who stand up when the chips are down, and he did. He stood up to the pressure.
And he did too in the World Cup win in Melbourne in the final, where once again the cornered tiger syndrome was there. You made it to the final and then played magnificent cricket to beat England.
Down the ground, over the top he goes, and that will go all the way. So 9 runs off the over, a big one for Pakistan. It's in the air, there's a top edge and a possible catch, and beautifully held but dropped.
Gooch, but it's way over his head and well back into the members. Good shot. That's his 50, and that may get to the boundary too. Lightning outfield. 88 balls for his 50.
He's beaten the mid-outfielder for 4 more. Imran's going.
Yeah, it was the greatest feeling. I have to say here that I got, it weighed so heavily on me, the hospital which I was setting up. As I said, it's an obsession. And when we weren't doing badly, our campaign to raise money for the hospital completely flopped. And I realized that we had to win really for any chance of getting this hospital completed. And so I was so emotional at the end for the sake of the hospital. It meant so much to me. And as far as for me, I saw it as a national project as much as winning the World Cup to set up the first cancer hospital in the country. But in the speech maybe I didn't really thank the players, which in our press wasn't really received that well. But as I said, I mean, I was emotional at the time, and it meant a lot to me.
Well, Imran, thank you very much indeed. You've got retirement ahead of you. Doesn't sound as though you're going to be at a loose end doing nothing. Good luck with the hospital, and thank you very much indeed for the pleasure and excitement you've provided over many, many years of cricket.
Thank you, Richard.